I handed everybody a document, I don't think I handed myself a document. Okay, perfect. So pretty much this is the first step of opening the conversation. About this time last year, we went through a strategic plan review. We had a 4-page strategic plan prior to this. We got it down to 2 pages of priorities and measurables that I think I was very proud of. I thought the board was very proud of too. I mean, we really got focused. And so this is an opportunity to go through last year's strategic plan, make any changes, ideas, suggestions like that now, but I think this is something that we need to look at, and bring back ideas and suggestions to our following meetings so that we can go ahead and adopt it. So we're not gonna sit here for hours, coming up with ideas, but you'll notice in the red are a couple suggestions that I would like considered for addition to the strategic plan. So for example, with the visitation and destination awareness, we've done well with our social media, but to put an emphasis on growing all 4 of our platforms into something that is more competitive, I think should be a good target or a measurable, especially with Errol being here, that'll be a good one for him. Under priority number 2, with a focus on target markets, I went ahead and put a line through the development and implementation of ability to connect visitors, attractions, and hotels online. I feel like we did that. That was the goal of putting direct links on the website to the reservation pages of the hotels. But with that said, is it even worth striking? Is that just something that's broad enough that we just keep that on there because it's something we're always working towards? That's a discussion that the board should have. But in addition to that, I'd like to see focus on developing a stronger relationship in Southern Nevada. And so that, particularly, Vegas being such a big market, from a tourism standpoint, but I think from just a statewide relationship standpoint, you've got quite a bunch of big money, you've got politicians, you've got, these groups of people, news media, radio stations, I mean, I'm talking everybody, of trying to, put a special emphasis on making sure Southern Nevada knows that Ely's open for business and that, we're a great place for them to vacation at, So that, again, for review. Priority number 3 with Bristol Cone Convention Center usage and reviews. Again, I put a strike through the first one just because, to show that I feel like we tackled that one, we accomplished that. But again, that's something that could be ongoing. I mean, it's good enough that that it can just stay on there. We are still working on the facilities guide, so that will stay up there for the additional promotions and stuff. I've added focus on technology upgrades, and so that would be things like overhead projectors in the big room, wireless in back rooms, speakers, sound systems, things like that, making sure that list of bigger capital improvements that Nicole came up with a couple meetings ago is just being dialed in. And then for the 4th priority, with the budget focusing on increasing visitors and overnight stays, all of those things are, I think, still a priority, and there's still projects that are coming through. But I added focus on creating and attracting events to fill rooms in the shoulder season. And just because, again, I mean, if anybody was losing sleep in October and November, it was me. Looking at the numbers, for my own peace of mind, we need to bring in more stuff during those times, and then also, March and April as well. So this, if I could just, ask, maybe you guys take this home, look at it, review it, talk to people, and then plan on a longer discussion with this topic in our next board meeting, and hopefully an approval.
Can we go ahead and just contact you with additions so you can put it on there for next
Absolutely. If you want me to do that, I'll just add this to the document in red, and so you'll see what's different, and then we can just bring this back next meeting and go from there. We will be using this to drive our budget planning, which is coming up soon. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and just tackle this. Awesome.
Excellent. So then we would move to approve that discussion and that approval next month.
Yes.
It's getting pretty good there with your left hand.
I know, it's learning that though.
Number 9. Do you guys have anything for 9 in your packet?
There's nothing in there. Okay, do you want, number 9?
So number 9, essentially what it was is our aid to organization grant's gonna be opening up next month. I wanted to tell you guys what the dates were for the opening, but I don't have anything in there. Is Nicole still in there? Can we go see if she can write down the dates and can we move to the parking lot quote discussion while they're going through that?
Absolutely.
Because
Dates
I,
for the,
for the grants.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
And that would be the document that she emailed for the,
Okay, so item 10, discussion and for
Okay.
possible action, parking lot quote review.
okay. So the next quote that we have here in front of us is for the streetlights. And the streetlights, I wish I had a picture for you guys. It was the one that I brought in last time, but if you've seen the new streetlights down at the train yard, the ones that are kind of historic looking and they're curved and they're pointed down to keep the night skies certification, those are the streetlights we're talking about. They're in black at the train yard. They'll be in green, or kind of a coppery look to kind of keep the style of the Bristol Cone Convention Center.
Okay.
And so what that is there's eight lights that will go into, and so actually, excuse me, the ones at the train yard are single curved. The ones that we're talking about here are double curved with 2 lights, so it'll cast light down on the lower lot and the upper lot, sitting in the median. But there'll be 8 in the median that'll be dealing with the spots. There'll be trees in between them. We're not talking about trees right now, just lights. The additional light is for the one on the corner directly across from our front entrance. It's kind of decrepit and, falling over, and so there was a suggestion, I asked Terry for the quote, what would, give you the quote for one more, just to kind of keep the style as you're coming across. And so this is what he came up with, and,
Without elaborating too much, because I was sort of in on that discussion, is he fixing the
yes.
handicap thing? all
Yeah,
this?
so the handicap things are getting fixed, we're just waiting for an opening for him with a window of opportunity. But what's happening with that is they are essentially regrading the spot that they did for our 3 handicap spots down so that it's 88. It was literally 1 degree off. 1 degree off, and they made the call to go ahead and move them down to the other side. And so I was like, no, that's not what we're paying for. And so they're coming back, they're gonna regrade it, restripe it, and we'll have our 3 spots close to the convention center where they're supposed to be. I just don't see that happening. I didn't see that happening, anytime soon. I know they'd already moved on to their next projects and stuff like that, but it is on their list to do. And
Can we threaten them and say if they don't get it right this time, we will appoint George to be the project manager?
are you up for it?
That's the least of your worries. And you better put that walkway in too, folks.
Yep.
I'm looking for an 88 person.
Well, it's
Hammer time.
Work in progress. So this is the next phase, and I think from a safety standpoint, it's important to get the lighting in.
Do we need to take any action on this, or is this just?
We do, because this is over my approved amount.
So do we have to open this up for a bid since we've already approved all of this and this original project?
how much is it?
71.
71,465.
Yes, we should advertise and bid it.
Okay.
So we will, with the motion would it just be to go ahead and advertise for bid?
Yep, totally.
You have a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So would this be considered the first bid, or would I have to have Terry go ahead and put another one in? Once we
Well, we'll advertise, yeah, he should respond, he
okay,
should respond to the applicant.
perfect. We're gonna do it right.
Should those be sealed bids or?
Could just seal bids. Let me,
Kinda unfortunate
Let
that
me look
they've,
at all-
Wright Brothers already put their number out too, I don't
Oh,
know
that's right.
how fair that is.
yeah.
You've added to it though.
What's that?
You've added to the project, so the numbers will be different.
Well, so the original project that we approved included lighting, trees, and art, and landscaping essentially. And so that was the original number that we did approve. So what this is essentially just, phase 1 was for that first check that we cut for 150, and now this is phase 2 of that project that we approved, and that phase is 71
So
for.
wouldn't that be more of a change order than a?
Well, what we need to do is go back and look at the original
the original project and what the scope of that was,
Okay.
and then we'll see. But we can approve, or you guys did approve, to put out for bid in the event that we feel that we need to do that.
Okay,
Okay.
you wanna amend that motion?
Yes,
then?
Madam Chair, I'd like to amend my motion to include that in the event after review by our attorney, if we need to put it out for bid to go
Okay,
forward.
do you have a
Second.
second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay.
Motion passed. We can go back to number 9.
Did you get the dates?
Yes, it is.
Cool, alright, let's have Errol present number 9.
So basically the dates for 8 organizations are, they open February 7th and they close March 6th at 5 p.m. And then for capital improvement and outdoor recreation facilities, they open May 15th to June 12th at 5 p.m.
So we would approve marketing in the March meeting?
So what we would do is that's why we need to do our budget, because we need to figure out how much we're gonna be putting into aid to organization. And then, so they'll be applying while we're doing our budget. We'll essentially approve that, when we could approve that in the April meeting. And because I think we're gonna award aid to organization in the April meeting. And so, number 11 is setting the dates for the budget hearing. I would recommend, having a budget hearing meeting as like a special meeting in February. Can we talk about this? Or are we gonna wait
What's
till
the
the next
next,
one? I know that's the next agenda item. I think we just need to schedule our budget meeting, with enough time to approve a budget prior to, awarding the aid to organization grant, so that we know how much we have. We've traditionally done the same amount almost every year, so I don't think it's gonna be major discussion, but I think formalities of order of operations.
how much time do we have after we close it?
So after March 6th, it would be, we award in the April meeting, we've always awarded in the April
Okay,
meeting.
so,
So we would have our March meeting, and then we would also have our April meeting as well, before we awarded. So we do have a little bit of time. Maybe I was a little panicky early.
Well,
Yeah.
but by law, we have to do it before April 15th, don't we?
Right.
We have to have that special meeting, the hearing.
Yes,
hearing.
yes,
So we have.
the public hearing for the
Right,
budget.
But we would need to address that, probably start addressing it in March, the budget workshop or something like that, but we have to have that public hearing before the
Yes.
15th of April.
Yep, so that's 11. Or that's number 11, we get to pick which, when we wanna do that.
Alright.
So that's the end of the grant, it's just the updates of the
Okay.
grant dates.
Okay, so item 11, discussion and for possible action, set dates for budget hearing fiscal year 2021.
so,
So that's the public hearing is what you're saying, is that one? Then that
So,
would be in April, wouldn't it?
and we essentially, we could do the first public hearing really anytime it pleases the board. I know Errol and I just started working on itemizing our marketing campaigns and looking at actuals of like, so that we have an idea of what we would like. I don't wanna, lower community marketing like we did last year and then have to make an augmentation again, So there's some things that, we learned from last year, but, we're starting to figure out just, 2 years of marketing and events, how much we've put into it, design work, things like that. So we'll have some actual numbers for that, for for you guys to review.
Wouldn't it be something we need to get Jeff's input on, because he's going to be the one?
Yes, and he's never really like told us where to put our numbers. He's just always make sure the reports are straight and then we're good with Department of Taxation. So yeah, I mean, if he's in town, he certainly could sit in, but I don't know if I would wanna bring him up for a special meeting.
So he won't be helping you prepare it?
He'll just be helping me prepare to make sure that it's, compliant with everything. But even last year, we came up with our budget, and then he just looked at it and was like, okay, cool, you guys did it right.
So do we need to set that today, or can we wait until February to set it?
Unless you wanted to do something before the February meeting.
So this is not the April public hearing, this is the preliminary.
Yeah, this would be the preliminary budget hearing, public budget hearing.
have that by February?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do it sooner than later.
Can we do it with a meeting or no?
Can we?
You can. You
Okay.
just have
That
to,
would
you
be
have to
perfect.
time it separately.
That's fine.
So, would you wanna do that before or after our regular meeting? How does that
Next
work with your
meeting is-
guys?
I think you can do it during the meeting, just
Yeah.
close our meeting and open
That's
up
right,
that
go
meeting
to-
and then.
Okay.
As long as it's timed and everybody's here and it was notified, then we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that like right at 4.
Okay. Okay,
We're
On the
looking at March
25th.
24th, is that what you're saying?
25th,
I think it's February,
I'm sorry.
February 25th?
uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So we are gonna do our preliminary public budget hearing February 25th at 4 o'clock
Mhm.
before our regular meeting.
We'd call the regular meeting to order and then,
Okay.
or however James can help us with that.
And I will put that public notice in the newspaper,
So February 25th at 4.
4 p.m.
You wanna make it official with a motion or, I mean, it doesn't, as long as we notify, we're fine. If you guys wanted to make a motion, you could.
Okay, may I have a motion that we?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed.
On that calendar.
Item 12, discussion after possible action, budget augmentation for fiscal year 2019 to
Which you already
2020.
explained, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is again the recommendation of Robert Moore, our auditor, to move that expense from fiscal year 18-19 over to fiscal year 19-20, totaling $150,000. I called Department of Taxation today just to get their recommendation on things. They were like, if you're gonna do this, see if there's anything else you wanna go ahead and do. But essentially, you know, we'll be taking any of that carryover money from 18-19, we'll just go ahead and carry over into 19-20. So it does augment pretty smoothly. And again, you'll just see that, you know, really the surplus that we have is much larger than what's presented in the current financial report. So, the only other thing that I'd like to see is maybe an additional $20,000 into community marketing, bringing that up to $90,000. And, I believe that will give us the money to go ahead and carry through the last 4 months, with all of our marketing campaigns.
Will that be enough?
I think it will be. I think it will be. I don't wanna have eyes bigger than my stomach kind of thing, you know, so, I could definitely live within my means if we were to do 20.
I'll move to approve the augmentation suggested by our auditor, and as well as the 20,000 into marketing.
Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right. Well, thank you, and I'll make sure that gets over to the state and taken care of immediately.
Okay, item 13, discussion only, executive director's report for marketing, events, and facilities.
All right, well, I will go ahead and let Errol take the lead with the marketing report. There's been all kinds of stuff happening since he's been here, so I'll let him share that.
Hello. So everyone should have a copy of the
Hold on.
marketing report.
Looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Let's see if it's right. Alright, so starting first with social media, as always. On Facebook, this past month, we spent most of it pushing the Fire and Ice Festival, which went on a couple weeks ago, and I think it went off pretty well. We have 70 new page likes in the past month, and we boosted 17 posts. In the first graph, you can see that our post reach this past month reached 141,212, which is up nearly 500% from last month. And the next graph, it's a little small, but I can fix that next time. But if you look at it, you can see that this is our videos, and our videos did pretty well this month. We ended up pushing, so you can see how it kind of like boosted toward the end of the month toward Fire and Ice. That's because that's what we did. We made sure that right before the event, we had a bunch of videos going out, and they went pretty well. So we were up 312% as far as minutes viewed. And that giant spike right there actually shows itself in the next graph, which is our most successful post. And it was completely organic, it wasn't boosted, it wasn't promoted. And that's actually when we did a live feed from the fireworks train doing fireworks during Fire and Ice. And that reached 12.9 thousand, all on its own, for doing that one. We did 4 promotions, and the most successful promotion out of those was the Fire and Ice Festival promotion. That reached 9,000, most of it was organic. On Instagram, we have 1,518 followers, which is up from 48 in the past month. Twitter, we now have 167 followers, which is up 23 from the past month. YouTube did really well this past month. We had 23.6 thousand views in the past month, which is 10 to 14,000 more than we usually get. And our most popular videos were the mountain bike Ely video from last fall. We had the East Elk Sculpture Bonfire video, and then the Fire and Ice Ely video that we posted that advertised the Fire and Ice. So in total, it was 760 hours of watch time, which is 300 more hours than usual.
Question,
Yes.
it's kinda better late than never. Are we able to monetize these things so we get some income?
Not yet, we don't have the followers yet to go ahead and monetize it.
Little
With the
12-year-olds.
focus on some social
There you
media,
go.
you know, we could get that, but,
Start vlogging.
yeah, I think once we're up to a million
You can be
views,
popular
then we start getting like, you know, a penny per view or something like that, but hey, that adds up,
All
It's
right.
a good goal.
right?
I'll keep track of it.
Anyway, so with YouTube doing so well, and it with also like, you know, thousands of more views than we usually get, it shows how well our targeted digital through Reach Local has done. That kind of reflects that. So, you know, most people coming to our YouTube channel are there through our YouTube advertising through Reach Local. And just going on to that, you know, talk about our Reach Local campaigns that we have. So our targeted YouTube ad got 55,000 impressions, and a little over 24,000 views. So our YouTube ad did its job. It shows in the numbers. YouTube did really great. Our Facebook retargeting had over 23.3 thousand impressions and 569 clicks. And that was the campaign that we kind of just got it to kind of see where we would be with it after a couple months. And so we're gonna do one more month of the Facebook retargeting, and then we're ending it because we can't.
We're pretty much gonna be starting our spring and summer campaign, so.
Yep. And then we have direct targeting toward Vegas, and that has 84.7 thousand impressions with 70 clicks. And that's all through Reach Local. Moving on to our website, for our page views and sessions, they're up 60%, which equates to 8,700 sessions and 14,500 page views. Our top most visited pages this past month were the homepage, the Fire and Ice Winter Festival 2020 calendar, so if you go on the calendar and clicked on the event, that was it. The Rotary Ice Fishing Derby, which was on the calendar. Lodging, and then the last one was the Fire and Ice Winter Festival actual featured event that we had on the website with all the details. And the most refers we had to our website were from Instagram, organic Google search, Facebook, and the Nevada Northern Railway site.
Nice.
New articles, we actually have a new article from Matt Weiser showcasing our murals, their history, and where we plan to go with our murals. And if I'm not mistaken, that is our last article from Matt.
Yeah, but then we also had the one we just put out, for the Dave Tilford cabins up in Great Basin
Yeah.
National Park too.
That was on my last report, but
Yep.
we just recently advertised it. We have the Ely Film Festival article written by me. But that's officially up, so anyone can be referred to that to learn more about the film festival and all that makes it such a great event and everything. Calendar, as far as I have, I'm still updating it with sort of new events, specifically through Nevada Northern Railway and Ely Outdoor Enthusiasts. But if there's anything on there that you think needs to be on there or you want to see on there, please let me know. Upcoming events that we have that we're definitely gonna look into, advertising, would be Nevada Northern Railway Photography Workshop is on February 6th through 9th. Crap Rack is on February 8th. And then, of course, the film festival happening in March. We'll be advertising that pretty heavy. As far as updates, like Kyle said before, we started working on our spring events promotion, so April through June includes the poster, mailer, table tent card, Nevada magazine ad, all that good stuff. And then just as a side note, on the digital sign currently that we have across the street from Ridley's, we have the Welcome to Ely and then the photography workshop and Ely Film Festival featured.
Can we,
contact.
can we add the crab crack since we do bring in quite a few out-of-town people?
Okay.
That's, and that would be great on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Good. Any questions for Errol? I got a few things to add, but
This is
It's great, thank you.
very helpful, rather than just a verbal report.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is-
absolutely.
It's good.
Thank you.
So I want to go ahead and add, went ahead and had Nicole tally up all the events we had in the last year. So you've got here, in 2019, there was 119 individual events, meetings, conferences that were held here for a total of 159 days booked. And that was 10 more days booked than last year. So moving up on that one, 2020 is actually kind of coming in hot. We've already got 55 events booked for 84 days. Already in the year, so that's, already halfway through, so that's good. I want to add a couple projects that we're working on, working with the redevelopment board, or a few people on the redevelopment board, and a few other volunteers in the community on submitting to that HGTV hometown grant that everybody's all super jazzed up on, or at least all the social media activists are all super jazzed up on. But with all the talk, somebody's actually got to get together and actually make a proposal, of why they should come to Ely and fix up our hometown. And so I'm just part of a board that's going out compiling all of video content, sound bites, and so we're going around to all the different groups, businesses, office buildings, kids, seniors, everything, and just getting the group saying, simply, welcome to Ely, Nevada, or we love our hometown, getting shots of our great, tourism assets, historic buildings, but then also getting shots of the blight, the vacant buildings, the homes that need to be fixed up, and pitching it in a way of, hey, we're different from just every other mining town, mountain town that's gone through boom and bust, here's why we're different, we stand up in the face of adversity, we've kept ourselves going, we already appreciate the arts, we've already got these great assets, we're a can-do community, come invest in us and give us that shot in the arm. You're not just investing in Ely as a hometown, because Ely's Nevada's hometown, because every time you travel around the state, you mention Ely, somebody knows somebody from Ely, hers lived here or whatever, so that's a very rudimentary version of kind of what we're putting out there, but we are working on that. It's due February 7th. And so to create an 8-minute video in 2 weeks, it's gonna take some stuff, but just so you guys know, there is a group of people in the community that is rolled their sleeves up and is trying to make this happen so that we can get this from HGTV. In addition to that, we did just receive a grant that I submitted from the International Mountain Bike Association. It's called the Trail Accelerator Grant, and so what it is, they bring in their professional trail design crew. They look at the focus area that you presented, and they essentially design you a world-class, modern standard, destination trail system. And so it was John Miller with BLM who came to me and was like, hey, we're gonna be doing some upgrades up at Garnet Hill. What do you think about making that a trailhead? And you guys put some trails up there or something. Well, instead of just putting some trails up there or something, I thought it'd be a good idea to bring in the big dog. So this was with Trails Alliance, BLM, International Mountain Bike Association, and this was the same grant that Caliente got that started their entire movement. Now we're much further along than Caliente is, but to have the name and the marketing power behind the International Mountain Bike Association in your town is going to be great for kind of pushing that recreation economy that we're doing. So that grant was received, and then there's 2 other grants that we got from the Travel Nevada that we had talked about. We are working on the 2nd and 3rd video for the Train to Trails, and that is the name now for the one-way ticket to the end of the line is the Train to Trails ticket. We've got a paid advertising in Outdoors magazine where we actually submitted an article, a half-page ad, as well as other stuff. So we've got a pretty big spread, and that's part of that grant that we got from Travel Nevada, in addition to the 2 videos and all the pictures. And then I'm working with the golf course to start implementing the golf course grant that we got to reach out to college-aged golfers. So I feel like I'm missing a million things, but I think that's the meat and potatoes of it.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, item 3, old business. Item number 1, discussion only, parking lot subcommittee. Brian Boyer.
I think Kyle kind of covered all that. What's going on with you?
Okay. Item 2, discussion only, White Pine Golf Course.
No report.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, discussion only, White Pine Trails update. Brian Boyer.
So for the trails, so it looks like our SNPMA grant, is being postponed this round. It looks like they're postponing it another year.
Well, just.
So we
they're
are,
excited
the
to
Trails
do it,
Alliance,
so it's-
we're meeting with, the Forest Service, tomorrow night to kind of sit down and talk about where we go next with this. And possibly trying to scrape up some more funding to keep, building trails while we're waiting for the SNPMA grant to come in, or seeing our options from this point forward. And also along with that, Susie and I will be building trails starting May through July. And we're gonna finish up our latest project, which is another 1.5 to 2 miles of trails.
That's awesome.
Wow. Excellent.
So we're working on it. It's just, the SNPMA grant is our second round of it being pushed back. So what we were hoping for was a Caliente size grant, but, that's still on the back burner, but I think we're gonna start coming up with other ideas to keep pushing all these trails that we have approved, getting built and moving forward. Anything you wanna add, Kyle?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Is, I mean, everybody was waiting for this round of SNPMA to open up, so we're all sitting there with grants in hand. But in the meantime, we've got trails approved, so I'm glad we're still moving forward with breaking ground on them.
That's it. Thank you, Brian, very much. Okay, item 4, discussion only, Nevada Northern Railroad update, Mark Bassett, who's not here.
Did you have to look at the packet?
No.